All right, on to the next problem. Now we're drawing 2 cards from the deck, and they're telling us that they take a card out and they do not replace it. So what's the probability that the first card's an 8 and the second card is an 8? All right, well, there are 4 8s in a deck of cards. So the probability of the first 8 is going to be 4 out of 52, okay? And with an and, we're going to multiply our probabilities together. So assuming that we pick an 8 the first time, then that makes the 8 goes down by 1, the number of cards with 8 on it goes down by 1, and also the total number of cards. So once we take the first 8 out, we have 51 cards, only 3 of which are 8s. So on our second draw, we have a 3 out of 52 chance of drawing the second 8. By the way, sorry, my mistake. That should be 3 out of 51 because that first 8 made the whole deck go down by 1. By the way, the quiz will not take multiplication. You actually have to multiply this out. And it will take the non-reduced version of this. But if you have errors and you want to see the solutions, it's always going to post the fully reduced number. Okay, so either of these will go into the quiz. Both of them will go in correctly. So you want to realize that if you're trying to figure out the right answer, it's totally reduced. Okay, B. The first card is 4 and the second card is a queen. So the probability of pulling a 4 out of the deck is 4 out of 52. And once we pull the 4 out, there's only 51 cards left in the deck, but there are still 4 queens. So our probability is 4 out of 51. 6 over 2652. I'm sorry, 16 over 2652. And that'll reduce to that. Okay, the first card is a club, and the second card is a club. Well, there are 13 clubs in the deck to start with, 1/4 of 52. And if we pull out a club in the first card, then the number of clubs goes down by 1, and the number of cards in the deck also goes down by 1. And when we do the multiplication, and that'll reduce to that. Again, both answers will work. Okay. D, the first card is a 5 and the second card is a heart. Now, I really don't like this problem, and they don't tackle it correctly in my opinion, but tackling it correctly is way more complicated. Here's what I'm saying. All right, so the probability of pulling a 5 out of a deck is 4 out of 52. And the probability of pulling a heart out of the deck is going to be 13 out of 52. Now, 13 out of 52 is just 1/4. And that gives us 1 out of 52 as our answer. Now, here's what I don't like about it. And that's the correct answer as far as the quiz is concerned. Here's what I don't like about it. What if the first card we pick is the 5 of hearts? Then that number's not correct. But we'll ignore that. Just mentioning it in case you were wondering the same thing. Okay, so on to some kind of application problems. These are actually just really typical probability problems. So they give us some information. Out of 50 patients treated with a new drug, 8 suffered a relapse. Find the probability that 4 patients of the group chosen at random will remain disease-free. Well, they're kind of trying to trick us here, because the relapse means they suffered the disease again. And so 8 out of 15 are relapsed. That means we're going to start with 7 out of 15 is the number of people who have not relapsed out of the group. So if we're going to pick 4 patients out of this group randomly, then the first pick, our probability of picking a disease-free patient is going to be 7 out of 15. Now, assuming we pick a disease-free patient, then the next pick is going to be out of disease-free, but the number of disease-free has gone down, as has the number of total patients. So my next pick is going to be for disease-free is going to be 6 out of 14. So that's my second pick. Third pick and my fourth pick. And now when I multiply all that stuff together, and I think I did some major reducing here. Yeah, I did. And I think that's about it, but that sure does clean it up. I get 4 out of 6 times 4 is 24 times 13. All right. This is not agreeing. I've got to figure out where my error is. I'm going to stop. All right. I think this is correct. And when I multiply 3 times 2 times 13 times 2, I believe I get 156. Which is reducible. Oh, sure, I could do some more reducing, but I can't help myself. So 4, 2, and 2, that leaves me with, so that's a 1, 1, 1. Right, let's try that again. I get 1 out of 3 times 1 times 1, 3 times 13. Looks like it's 90. 3 times 3 is 9. 39. Hope my math is correct. All right, that's enough for this video.